Creating as an illustrator can sometimes feel like being in a tug of war between inspiration and pressure. On one hand, you're buzzing with ideas and excitement, but on the other, there's this nagging weight, whether it's deadlines, client demands, or even your self-imposed expectations. It's easy to get swallowed up in that pressure and lose sight of why you started creating in the first place. So, let's chat about the beauty of creating without pressure and how to embrace a more relaxed, enjoyable art-making process. Hello, welcome to another video. My name is Martin, a passionate illustrator. How nice that you are also there to draw and enjoy creativity. First off, let's talk about what creating without pressure really means. It doesn't imply tossing your goals aside or not taking your art seriously. Rather, it's about removing the harsh expectations and the toxic hustle culture that sometimes creeps into our creative lives. When you allow yourself to create freely, without the weight of judgment, either from yourself or others, you open the door to genuine expression. Remember when you were a kid, doodling in the margins of your school notebook without a care? You weren't worried about whether it looked good or if it would impress someone. You were just having fun. Reconnecting with that playfulness can be a fantastic first step. I had this phase where I was so fixated on producing successful work that I ended up producing nothing at all. I was sitting there staring at a blank page, feeling the pressure of my own expectations. I wanted everything I created to resonate, to have meaning, and to be worthy of sharing. But here's the kicker, that kind of pressure stifled my creativity. It became more of a chore than a joy, and that was so counterproductive. So I decided to change things up. I started dedicating time to create just for me. No audience, no critique, just pure expression. It was electric. One practical way to create without pressure is to establish play sessions. These are dedicated blocks of time where the goal is simply to explore. Maybe grab some new materials you haven't tried before. Think watercolors if you usually work in ink, or even some digital brushes that mimic traditional textures. The key here? No rules, just allow yourself the freedom to mess around, make marks, and see what happens. Sometimes the most exciting ideas come from happy accidents. You might stumble upon a color combination or shape that you never would have thought to use if you were worried about making a masterpiece. Another great strategy is to set tiny, low-stakes goals. Instead of focusing on completing an entire illustration in one sitting, challenge yourself to spend just 10 minutes on sketching. Or set a goal to fill a page with doodles, not worrying about what they'll become. This way you take the pressure off the end result and shift your focus to the process instead. By breaking it down into smaller, manageable tasks, you take away that overwhelming feeling of needing to produce something worthy. It's also helpful to create a space that encourages relaxation and creativity. Whether that's a cozy corner in your home, a local cafe, or even a park with a sketchbook, try designing your environment to feel inviting. Surround yourself with inspiring things. Maybe some of your favorite art pieces, plants, or music that gets you in the groove. The right atmosphere can create an open mindset, making it easier to engage with your work without feeling the stress of performance. When it comes to inspiration, remember that it doesn't always have to come from the world of illustration. Read a book, watch a movie, take a walk, or even just sit quietly and let your mind roam. Different experiences can fuel fresh ideas for your art. Sometimes stepping away from the drawing board and taking a break can bring clarity and reinvigorate your creativity. Don't forget the power of community too. Find or create a group of fellow artists who nurture each other's work without the pressure of competition. Share your projects, no matter how unfinished they are, and support each other in the artistic process. When you surround yourself with others who prioritize exploration over perfection, it helps foster a gentler environment where everyone can thrive creatively. Another aspect to consider is letting go of comparison. It's all too easy to scroll through social media and see other illustrators' polished work and feel like you're falling short. Instead, remember that everyone is on their own journey. That artist you admire probably has a long history of failures and learning experiences behind their work that they've tucked away. Focus on your own progress and the steps you're taking, rather than measuring yourself against someone else's finished product. Also, be kind to yourself when things don't go as planned. Art is subjective, and what you perceive as a failure might just be the stepping stone to something else. In fact, embracing setbacks can be a powerful part of your creative journey. Instead of viewing them as disasters, try to see them as entry points for growth and discovery. How can you transform an idea that didn't land the way you hoped? Dig in, reflect, and see what you can learn from the experience. Lastly, make sure you're celebrating the small wins along the way too. Finished a piece? Even if it wasn't what you envisioned, great. Sketched something you love, even if it's just a small detail? Awesome. Each step you take matters, and recognizing those achievements can reinforce a positive feedback loop that encourages you to keep creating. Creating without pressure is all about reconnecting with the joy and spontaneity of art. It's about setting yourself free from the confines of judgment and embracing the process, learning, exploring, and growing along the way. Remember, you embarked on this journey because there was something inside you that wanted to express itself. So dive back into that childlike wonder, play without boundaries, and let your creativity flow. You'll be surprised at what you uncover when you allow yourself the freedom to create simply for the sake of creating. Now go grab your tools, loosen up, and see what unfolds. That's it again. Thanks for taking part and watching. See you next week, and have fun drawing.